Hello and welcome to week 7 of NFL Game Picks. Nice little SpongeBob wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, week 7, it's flying by. Honestly, it feels like just yesterday we were kicking off the season, so that's pretty wild. Uh, you have anything to say while you're wearing no Bears stuff today?
No Bears stuff. NBA is back. We're hopping on the Bulls bandwagon. 1-0. We went to the game last night. Got to see a Bulls win. Haven't seen the Bears win in a while. And that Thursday night game was rough. It was pretty bad. And this is yet another game where we don't score 10 points.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Awful performance. Rough Thursday night game. And hopefully tonight is a better Thursday night football game because the last few kind of sucked.
Yep, that I will have to agree with Chris. Yeah, this Thursday night game. We'll get into it once we go over everything else. But real quick, Dolphins. Tua got cleared. Hopefully, he plays against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If that's the case, slam whatever you want on betting for the Dolphins because he's night and day of him at the quarterback versus Teddy and Skyler. No shade to them. It's just like
Yeah.
Tua's that guy.
So hopefully he comes back and looks healthy.
Yeah.
That's the only
The
thing.
biggest concern is making sure he stays fine and nothing bad happens to him. With the latest struggles of the offensive line hasn't been so good, so that
Yeah,
is
they
the
look
biggest
bad.
concern. Pete Prisco put him on the spinning top of the week. It's very, very bad when that happens to your team. Anyways,
Rough.
anyways, let's go over the standings right now. Eddie is killing it. So is Steve. Both of them have been pretty much neck and neck all season long. It seems like they're tied every week. If not, Steve drops one and then he has a great week. But last week, a lot of people struggled. Matt was the biggest winner of last week, 10-4. Meanwhile, no one else eclipsed double-digit wins. Eddie and Steve both went 8-6, getting them to 57 and 37. Matt is in third, 56-38. Behind him is DJ with 51-43. Same thing with Mark. Both of those guys also had 7 weeks. It's pretty crazy how the parallels going on here. I had probably my worst week ever picking games. This is I think one of the first times I've actually gone under 500 picking games. 6-8, not a good look. Drops me down to 50-44, which is still tied with Joey. Joey went 5-9. Oof, tough. And then Chris.
I also went 6-8. I think we had a lot of similar picks last
Yeah.
week, if not almost all
And
identical.
then the ones that we alternated on,
Yeah.
were like it went either way for.
I think you
both
took the
teams.
Dolphins and I didn't take the Dolphins and then we must have had one other. Anyways, yeah, I'm not looking too good. I'm 2 games under 500 right now, but I feel like we're starting to really understand teams' identities now, and I think picking games is gonna be a little bit easier.
A little bit, but
Um,
then you never know what happens.
Yeah, you can never predict, 100%, but like I think we really, really have a good idea now, week
Mhm.
7. I mean, if you take a look at NFL Game Picker and I like all of our picks, there's a lot of like everybody's going with one team this week.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of like
There'll be a few that stray away, but I
there's
get
not
it.
as many question marks is what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say. But yeah, this Thursday night football game is going to be an easy one to pick, I think. Arizona at home is a pretty easy lock. Most of us are going that way. I know DJ hasn't picked yet, but I'm assuming he's probably going to take the Saints. But
He,
as-
he posted earlier today
I was
about
going
him.
to say,
Okay.
as he's posted on every social
You gotta
media.
bring it up a bit. You gotta bring it up a bit.
Oh.
Right there. Yeah.
As he's posted on every social media, there's a lot of people out for the Saints this week, to say the least.
Yeah. That's probably the. Yep. Turn it just a touch to the right. It's not grabbing it. Whatever. Point is, a lot of Saints players are out and
A bunch.
tough. They're two top wide receivers. I wouldn't say top two, but Jarvis is in my eyes like a good receiver, so I just always consider him as a top one. Mike Thomas is also out, so
Yeah.
those are big offensive weapons for them not to have. Like you're alluding to, I mean the Cardinals are the way to go. I'm not mistaking it, but you're going with the Cardinals as well, right?
Yep. And speaking of wide receivers, Austin, I think somebody's coming back.
Yeah, D Hop is coming back.
Excited?
Yeah, I have him in one or if not two of my fantasy leagues.
Nice.
So
Stashed them.
yeah,
Nice.
and good friend of ours at work, Troy, he kind of put me on because he was like, yeah, I mean, who cares? It's Diop. He's gonna come back and be balling. I'm sure of it, but we'll see. But
hopefully,
player prop that I took for this game is Cardinals wide receiver AJ Green over 2.5 receptions plus 143. Robbie Anderson's I don't think he's gonna play. So that pretty much leaves AJ Green, Rondale Moore, and he's in questionable. He might be a healthy scratch at the end of at the beginning of the game. So him and AJ Green and D Hop are going to be the leading guys the entire night. So we'll see what happens.
Brown's out for the year now, right?
Brown did go down. Not sure the status of it.
Pretty sure I hurt his foot, I believe, and it looked like they said implications said year-ending injury, so that's not good.
That's
not good for Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I heard about it, but not fully sure on what the case is. I know he's not playing this game, that's for sure, but status of like whether he can come back or not is up in the air. But anyways, let's move on to the first game of Sunday. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is favored by a touchdown and half a point, 6.5. Cincinnati looking good, even though the record kind of goes against saying that, 3-3. But so are the Falcons. And the Falcons are way more of a surprise team, especially with Cardell Patterson going on IR so early on in the season. But they found a way to get wins, and they put a show against the 49ers, who have one of the better defenses in the NFL last week. Makes it a little bit tougher to pick it, but I'll go with Cincinnati just because they're the more sure pick. But for all of you gamblers out there, Falcons are undefeated against the spread this year so far, so just keep going with them if that's your cup of tea.
I'm also gonna go with Cincinnati. This is another get right game for the Bengals. They have a nice win at home. Hopefully Mixon runs the ball well, gets in the end zone. He only has one touchdown, I think, on the year so far. And I mean, the records are the same. Both have kind of played better teams to start the year.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bengals just same problem as last year. They can't block. Mm-hmm. And Joe Burrow can't get hit 6 times a game, 6 sacks a game, hit 12 times a game, rush 20 times a game. He never has a clean pocket.
If I'm not mistaken, I didn't check last week's to see what the stats were, but every game that the Bengals have lost, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Burrow gets sacked 5+ times.
Every game that they've lost?
Yeah. I know the first 2 games it was like that. It was 5 and 6. But for the last loss, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure he probably did get sacked a bunch. Against the Ravens? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. But I mean, if they can give him time to throw, there's no doubt in my mind that Joe Burrow should tear apart a bottom 5 Atlanta Falcons defense.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of throwing, the quarterback on the other side, Marcus Mariota, is where I put the player prop for this game. He under half a touchdown, so he can't pass a touchdown. Plus 460.
Oof.
It's a bit of a wild one, but
hold on, let me see his stats real quick. Let me just
taking a
He's
shot.
got 6 tuds on the year, so he's averaging about 1 a game.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got 4 interceptions. Maybe if this defense plays great.
Yeah, I'm not too optimistic about the Bengals defense. It's just taking a shot on, never know what could be the case.
It's a fun one. I like it.
Keeping it in the AFC North, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's favored to win this game basically by a touchdown, 6.5. Over under set at 45. Minus 285 for the money line for Baltimore. And Browns started off pretty good and then just haven't looked the same since probably I'd say about week 4. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, they started off 2-1, and then they've lost the last 3. The Ravens aren't looking great either. They just lost to the Giants. Although the Giants have a good record, I'm not a huge believer. That defense is nice. I'll just say that. Not a huge believer on the offensive side, especially in Daniel Jones. But I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens at home. quite honestly need to keep pace with the Bengals at this point to try to fight it out, and I think both teams get a win at home this week.
Mm-hmm. All right, quick question. Does Jacoby Brissett pass for over 1.5 touchdowns? So he needs to pass 2 touchdowns.
I thought you were going to say at least 1. I would have said yes for sure.
Yeah.
2, I'm not sold on. I don't know. That's a rough one.
This is the wild thing about like these props, right? Like it's like if you would have given me half a touchdown, like I would have taken Jacoby Brissett with these odds all day.
Yeah.
But like now it's like he has to pass 2 touchdowns for the over. It's a little tough, but plus 420 is a pretty good return.
Well, both these guys are averaging 1 a game, and Jacoby Brissett has 5 interceptions as well. So I would honestly take the under.
Yeah, the under doesn't get you as big of a return, but like that's why like I'm just putting out big returns when it comes to these player props.
Yeah, if it could be like if you like that, parlay with something else, you know, make money that way.
Well, not even that. Like typically, what you would want to do is take like something that's favorable for a parlay and just put it together so you can maximize your winnings.
Exactly.
But
so if you believe in that one, put it with other ones.
Yeah.
You know.
But I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well.
Yeah.
Just confident in them. They've had a stroke of bad luck, and if they lose this game, I'm never picking the Ravens at home this entire season from now on. It's just a matter of the fact of how this team has played. They have struggled at home. They've lost 2 of their 3 home games, and 2 of them were like comeback wins against them. So, if the Browns manage to get a win here, I would be shocked and brutally upset with this Baltimore Ravens team for not being able to hold up. You know. You want to intro this next game, Chris?
Yeah, Detroit is Dan and Campbell Motor City going down to Dallas, and Dak is back.
Hey,
Dak is back. Dak is
dude.
whack. I want to take the Lions to upset the Dallas Cowboys. Really bad, especially with the return of Dak Prescott. And I might change this one, but it's hard because their defense is the worst, and Dallas's defense is one of the best, if not the best. I don't think they're the best, but some people would argue, especially with all the playmakers they have. I'm going to take Dallas at home. If they've been winning a lot of games with Cooper Rush at their quarterback, although he played pretty good, he's not a starter in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If Dak comes back and he's actually fully healthy and they didn't just rush him back to play and he's ready to go, I'm going to take the Cowboys at home, which hopefully he is, by the way.
Are you trying to make some puns saying that they're rushing him back?
I'm just saying, man. They might be. They might be.
I don't think they're rushing him back because, you know, it's been, 6 weeks already? So, you know, I think he's got an adequate amount of time to come back. The severity of his injury, minor. Like
Broken thumb?
It was a muscle in his thumb. He had to go under the knife and fix it. But the biggest question was whether he could grip the ball. And so far, so good. I mean, he's been practicing. He's been actually throwing the ball. So, I mean, not much else to go on there for the Cowboys except for you already alluded to it. Their defense has been pretty good, keeping them in games. So, if, like you said, if Dak plays a decent to good game, it's a surefire win, especially against this Detroit Lions team who has been struggling as of late. But they are getting guys back. They're expected to get Amon-Ra St. Brown back. And then on top of that, DeAndre Swift.
For this game?
Huh?
For this game?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That'd be big.
And then on top of that, Swift may come back. He's more so iffy about it. But still, those are big pieces that, you know, is the main factor of whether or not Detroit can either win this game or stay within it.
That happens. I might
game time
flop.
decision.
I might flop.
Yeah, that's this one's one that, like, as of right now, for sure you go with the Cowboys. But later on, you may end up going with the Lions.
Yeah, it's Thursday, so you never know.
Exactly.
Lions is tough, man. 3 losses in a row.
Mm-hmm. But this is probably one of my favorite props I've had for this entire week.
Hit me with it.
Cowboys running back Tony Pollard anytime touchdown plus 165. Take that all day.
I like it.
All day.
He's pretty good.
All day. He's been on quite a little bit of a roll lately, getting more and more steam. So, might as well just fire that one in and just run to the bank with it. Honestly,
there's a lot of Dallas fans that
not a fan of him.
Well, no, there's a lot of Dallas fans that didn't want to pay Zeke and wanted to just pay Tony Pollard. And if you look at their numbers, they're pretty comparable. Although, like, it's hard to say if he could just be that guy because, Zeke is getting half of the touches and he's getting half. So it's a different look. It's a power back and he's more of like an elusive, smaller type of guy. So I don't know. I feel like it's a good, like, salt and pepper type deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Lightning and thunder.
I feel you. It's literally like,
speaking of lightning and thunder.
Thunder and lightning, because what's it called? Yeah, like Zeke is a thunder and then Tony is a lightning, essentially.
Yeah.
That it's probably one of the better backfields in the NFL, honestly. Yes, Zeke's production hasn't been what it's been. It's been on a steep decline since his rookie year. It's like a constant decline, like just slowly, like less and less yardage rushing per game. But at the same time, I think that's also Tony Pollard going up and up and up, which is good. You want to have these two guys that you can kind of rotate in and out and help you out your offense as much as possible, especially with a quarterback coming back from injury. So that's another big factor for the Cowboys. If they can win the game, those two guys are going to need to have a big game. But let's go on to the Green Bay Packers going to the Washington Commanders. Green Bay's favored 4.5 points. Green Bay minus 220, over under set at 41.5. I'll take the under.
I hate the I was gonna say I hate that. Take the under.
Yeah, I would take the under on this one. Both teams have had struggles offensively as of late, but could go off at any given moment because also Carson Wentz is out. So that's another factor in terms of who you might end up going with on this game. Me personally, I think the Packers take this game. They're the better team, and on top of that, they've been on such a slide lately and like under such scrutiny. They lost back-to-back games in London and in Lambeau, which is unheard of the Packers with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. So big bounce back win coming against the Commanders is possibly where they're going.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you and take the Packers. Speaking of lightning and thunder and good running back duos, talking about the Packers, well, hopefully they get Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon going and see less passing, I would think, than we have. And I don't know. I feel like Green Bay's defense is really good, so I don't think the Commanders are going to score a lot of points. So hopefully the Packers just get out to a good lead for them, and they just maintain it and can just work on some things, like if they have like a half of a quarter or at least all of the fourth quarter to just do some plays, throw the ball, get some guys, get their morale up, get some guys feeling good going into next week. Because, I mean, like you mentioned, they just lost back-to-back games to two New York teams that we're used to seeing them demolishing. Mm-hmm. And then next week, they have the Buffalo Bills. Tough. So, very tough.
Need a win
Sunday night game, I believe. I believe it's an 8:20 game. But, yeah, so they need a good win to go into the Bills and stand some sort of shot. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and then to add on to it, we spoke about Carson Wentz not playing this game. He has a hand injury. Not really sure. It's definitely something similar to like what happened to Dak. He kind of hit his hand real weird.
I think Russ did that too this year, didn't he?
Sort of, yeah.
Something like that, right?
No, that was last year.
Was it last year?
He hurt his hand last year, yeah. Russ hurt his hand last year. Commanders quarterback, Taylor Heineke.
Comparable.
0.5 total touchdowns passing, plus 146. Why not? They have three great wide receivers, all of which are one of my teams in fantasy.
Yeah, hopefully, dude, right? I have McLaurin in a lot of leagues.
Somehow in fantasy, I ended up with McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and John Dotson on the same team. I'm like, I looked at him like, damn, I need to get rid of at least one of the guys.
Probably Samuel, I would say.
Samuel has the most following in terms of like people want to get him. So it's a good option to get rid of, but in terms of that, I mean, they have good wide receivers. The running back field is pretty good. So I'm pretty confident in Taylor Heineke being able to compete in this game and hopefully get a passing touchdown. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be tough. They're playing a good Green Bay team who have had just bad luck as of late, in my honest opinion. But let's go to the AFC South, where we have the two division leaders in the Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans duking it out to, win the first place right now. And It's tough, man. This Colts team is so like shaky, and so is the Titans. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough to want to go with either or. But I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm gonna go with the Titans. They got Derrick Henry, and that's all I pretty much got to say.
It's a big game. This is a really big game, and I think it's tough. It's a tough one. If I'm not mistaken, Tennessee's coming off of a bye week, so they had a lot of time to prepare for this game. This is the second time that they're playing, and if they win, that's 2 wins against Indy, who right now it seems like maybe the only team that's going to compete in that division with them.
Jaguars possibly,
The
but
Jaguars,
even then,
they're
stretch.
they're like hot and cold, so who knows? But for right now, that kind of almost nearly eliminates the Colts. The Colts will probably have to get in through a wild card spot at that rate if they do get into the playoffs at all. I'm going to take the Titans at home, which would give them 4 wins in a row. Colts are coming off of 2 wins in a row. Both of them not great games, especially that Broncos game. That was rough. That was a Thursday night game. Rough. And then the Jaguars. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm just going to take the Titans at home. I think they're the better team, but like I said, this is a tough one to pick, honestly.
Would you take them winning by 7 to 12 points? Right now, the spread is set at 2.5, but you think they can win by a touchdown and a little bit more?
Yeah, if a touchdown or more, why not?
Plus 460. Not bad.
That's pretty good odds.
Yep. I mean, just handing out money here, dude. I don't know.
It's pretty good odds.
I don't know what the people want from me, man. I'll let you introduce this one.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like this game either, really. But it should be hopefully an interesting game. The New York Football Giants are going down to the dirty Jacksonville Jaguars down in Jacksonville.
Duval County.
In Duval County. I don't know. The Jags started off really good, 2-1, and then 3 tough losses back to all in a row, and to the Texans and Colts, who look like they're not going to be very good teams. A lot of people are taking the Giants on the road. I'm going to roll with the Jags at home in this one, and hopefully they get a win here. But I don't know. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones, but the Giants' defense is very good.
Well, you just segue perfectly into the player prop. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones over 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 184. Risky because Daniel Jones, once he gets into the red zone, he's kind of like fight or flight type of player, kind of like the Carson Wentz deal. It's like either I'm going to throw this for a touchdown, throw it for an interception, or run through someone just to get this touchdown. And that's a scary thing because if Daniel Jones gets close in the red zone, he might just run it in. So it's a risk about taking this one, but they've been finding ways to get in the end zone and get wins. I mean, this New York team is surprising a lot of people, and I don't think they'll surprise anyone once they get the win this week. That's why I'm going with them. But, Jacksonville does have a chance. They are favored -3.
Somehow.
Yeah, which is why. When I saw the favor, I'm like, kind of weird, but I'll take New York on that, and you take that New York +3, and you probably run with it, honestly.
I don't love the Daniel Jones one. He only has 5 touchdowns on the
year.
But
it's definitely a risk, but
you never know.
Jaguars not so great, so you just want to take your chances when you can. But the return on it is not huge as a lot of the other ones, so it is what it is.
What do you think about the next game? Kind of an easy one?
Possibly.
Or more to it.
I think there's more to this game than a lot of people think. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Buccaneers sliding, dude. Not a good time for the Buccaneers right now. 3-3, where they should easily be, probably 5-1, maybe if not 4-2. But a few bad games that they've lost. Not looking so good. The Steelers one was a really rough one.
Yeah, it was.
But I still will go with the Buccaneers just because they are the better team. They're in a better situation than the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are down to their 3rd-string quarterback. Their 2nd-string quarterback didn't even get a chance because he's on IR, but he's returning. I don't think he'll return for this game, but he's getting off of IR. Baker Mayfield is injured, and new head coach, interim head coach, Steve Wilkes. We talked about that a little bit last week, but still just this Panthers team is blowing up in everyone's face, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go Tampa. I think it's an easy pick.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady is pissed off at this team. Hopefully, he gets some boys right for this game, and they come out and win this one pretty easily. Keep an eye on Christian McCaffrey. A lot of trade rumors. I don't know how much they're planning on playing him and using him going forward.
Yeah, they just shipped out Robbie Anderson, and then on top of that, Christian McCaffrey has been in circulated amongst the trade rumors. Dolphins are actually one of the more favorite teams to get him, which
that'd be crazy.
Interesting news for me to hear. The production so far out of Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds has been decent, but
Mostert's always hurt.
Adding a guy like McCaffrey might be a little bit crazy for the Dolphins offense, honestly.
Game changer, dude.
But that's not what the team we're talking about. Panthers, though, their quarterback, P.J. Walker, under half an interception thrown. So he cannot throw an interception. Plus 152. Take it, why not? Some of these, literally all I'm doing is looking for plus returns on these player props or game props. So just fair warning.
Sam Darnold's activated, so I'd keep an eye on that one. He could possibly play. I don't think he will, but maybe.
Yeah, never know.
Never know.
I got us to this next game here. We have the Houston Texans versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe this is the first 4:00 game, 4:05 game, and it is. Both teams coming off a bye, and Raiders really disappointed right now, probably within themselves. A lot of the outside attention is very disappointed with them as well. They were a playoff team last year and had big playoff aspirations, division-winning aspirations, and they're the worst team in the division right now. The Texans are same story in terms of they're the worst in the division right now. Aspirations, not so much. They're a young, rebuilding team. But with that being said, I got to go with the Raiders. They are the best, 1-4 team I've ever seen in my life.
I think so, yeah. I would have to say so. I don't know. I don't think the Texans are good at all. I think they had a weird game against the Jags. Got a win. And they have a tie against the Colts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Raiders at home.
Hello, Raiders.
Although they haven't looked great, they have the better team by far. Definitely way more star potential.
Yeah.
Everything all around is a better team about the Raiders. I think they'll win this one at home.
Okay, and what about the Texans quarterback? Davis Mills over 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 116.
I think David Mills stinks, so I would never bet on him.
Oh, man.
5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions so far on the year.
This Raiders team hasn't looked good either, so never know.
Never know.
You never freaking know. Yeah. That being said, we have the New York Jets versus Denver Broncos. Jets have been surprising. Jets have been very surprising. Since you liking it, you're going with it.
Oh, okay. I like this game, man. I really do. Russell Wilson has been bad, and I'm a fan, and it's tough to say that, especially with all the hate. I really liked him in Seattle. It's tough to see all the hate he's been getting. He's always been cringe. We kind of just didn't talk about it. We've always known, but it's been brought to light as of lately. So the Russ hate kind of stinks. I'm going with the Jets on the road. I just have a good feeling about this team. Keenan Williams is up for Defensive Player of the Year right now, probably. If not, and also I think most improved a lot of people are talking about. Sauce Gardner has only allowed 1 catch so far and has the most pass breakups. They've got some young players on defense and on offense. Although, bad news, I just saw Wilson, I believe.
Garrett or Zach?
Not Zach. I believe the wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. I believe he asked for a trade because he hasn't been involved enough in the offense. Bears, I hope you're listening. Anybody would be better at this point. Or no, it was Moore. My bad. Elijah Moore asked for a trade.
Yeah, I was about to say, because Garrett Wilson's a rookie.
Yeah, I was going to
say. He has that much pull.
Elijah Moore asked for a trade, which I don't know. Bears could definitely use. I'm gonna go with the Jets on the road. I think that defense is just gonna be too much for the Broncos to handle. They lost that left tackle, and they can't recover from that. I don't think.
It's tough. It's tough when one of your star
He's the
offensive linemen.
best one too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like one of your star offensive linemen goes out. It's tough. Like literally, the Dolphins experienced that last week with Armstead not playing. It was just like,
hey. I called it, man. I called it when he signed with the team. That dude's always hurt. He's awesome, but he's always hurt.
Still got time. I might hit the over on that one. Anyways, yeah, I agree with you with this Jets team in terms of defense. They've been looking really good. They've actually been surprising a lot of people, including myself. I did expect this Jets team to have a decent defense, but like they're playing above expectation right now, which is probably why they're leading their team to wins. Because the offense is, I want to say lackluster because their running backs have been really good, Brees Hall especially.
I forgot about that, yeah.
But passing game isn't doing much, but that's because so much of the success that they've been having with the young running backs. But, man, it's so hard to go against Russ and this Denver Broncos team. They also have a really good defense, and then they have great offensive weapons. So what's the deal? It's Russell Wilson, 100%. And I will wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't want to drag them in the mud. I am going with the Broncos just because I just think overall better team. I'm going to go with them. And I also want to get one up on you. So when you pick one of my divisional rivals, I'm going to go against you.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd have to go against the
Jets.
Yeah, against the Jets. Makes sense. Although, in fairness, I feel like whoever Sauce guards in this game, he's shutting them down.
Well, that's going to be one of the more interesting factors about this game is like watching what happens between Sauce and whoever he may be guarding.
Judy,
either his
Sutton,
Judy. If it's Judy, he's going to lock up Judy. I'll tell you that right now. If he's guarding Sutton, I hope and pray that Russell just tests him and like throws up a ball and kind of humbles Sauce. But no, I mean, this Jets team is having good success, but they could easily win this game. It's literally what we alluded to. Their defense is really good, really young, and playing very efficient. And then if they can find a way to bleed out the clock, then for sure they can win this game. But I do have Denver winning and also prop bet Denver winning margin of 7 to 12 points plus 500. Big money. Big freaking money. Next game we have is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers, a rematch of Super Bowl 54, which was the last time these two teams met. Different teams, same teams, all at the same time. It's kind of weird. I do got to say that the Chiefs are looking like the same old Chiefs as before. 49ers not looking as their Super Bowl team as from the past. What I do got to say, though, is it's a tough game. Kansas City is favored by a field goal of 2.5 points, but it's a lot closer. The line keeps shifting closer and closer as we're getting closer to the game, which typically happens because teams are taking the opposite side just to move the lines. But San Francisco, the only reason I'm not going to go with San Francisco is that they can't get a running game going, and that's pretty much the entire offense of how Kyle Shanahan works, unless you have an insane playmaker as Dolphins do with having Tyreek Hill to officiate that, like balance that out. But I mean, they do have Debo, they do have George Kittle, but it's just not going to be enough to beat this Kansas City team. They had a bad loss last week against the Bills. They're going to bounce back and beat this 49ers team, even though they have one of the better defenses in the NFL.
I would agree with that. I would agree with a lot of what you said, but the run game, I feel like, is going to be lackluster if Trent Williams isn't playing. Mm-hmm. He's questionable, if not going to be out. And the entire 49ers defense is hurt, basically. Like, literally the entire defense is hurt. Plus, how many times have you seen the Chiefs lose back-to-back games? I don't know.
On their Patrick Mahomes, barely ever.
And, yeah, that's enough reasons for me to take Kansas City at home. Although, when healthy, I would like this game a lot more. Mm-hmm. I would probably say this is the game of the week, but I don't know. I don't think San Francisco is going to even be nearly healthy, so I feel like this might be a bit of a blowout.
Very well could be. Hopefully, if it's a blowout, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chiefs running back, has over 2.5 receptions, plus 106. It's the only plus one I could find from this game. A lot of the player props were minuses, but screw it, man. Take some plus money.
Did you see Stephen A. said the only way the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl is if they sign Odell Beckham Jr.?
For real?
Yeah, I think he said it today.
Do you think that's in the possibility of the Chiefs?
I don't know, but
They
since
are
he
in
said
like
that,
a needing of like a dominant wide receiver.
like since he said that, and since today, like a lot of people have been picking him up in leagues, which I didn't know you could if he's not on a team.
Yeah, you could do that.
I didn't know, but because it still says they're the Rams, but he's got to play somewhere. I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's anywhere near ready yet.
Yeah, I remember this kind of like just takes me back to the year AB was with the Raiders to start off the season. Or not even start off the season because he never made it to the actual season. But the second he got released, someone dropped him. And then because they thought, like, oh, this guy's done. He's never playing in the NFL again. Instantly, like, everyone tried claiming him because the rumors were swirling about him going to the Patriots. And then he only plays one game against Miami, but still, he went off in that game. So that just, like, reminds me of that time. But anyways, just keep it moving because not much else to really speak on that game with all the injuries and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Seahawks here and there doing good. Chargers have been underwhelming. And I know Herbert's probably still dealing with like a nagging rib injury from that Thursday night game against the Chiefs. But they're still just it's such an offensive struggle. Their defense is fine. Defense is holding them in games. Offense is really struggling to find their footing because they're allowing like not much separation between the receivers. I know they're getting Keenan Allen back either this week or if not within the next week or two.
Yeah.
So that will be a big boost to the receiving corps. But Austin Eckler has been underwhelming. So has Justin Herbert. So I still am going to go with the Chargers. They are the better team. But, man, after seeing them have a close game with the Broncos last week, it's lost some confidence in them.
I'm going to also go with the Bolts.
Hey, Bolts up, baby.
Yeah, Geno Smith, I'm not buying into the fandom, although he has looked pretty good.
He wrote back finally?
He looks pretty good. He's like, they'll throw out these stats like Geno Smith is the number one quarterback in the league against man coverage, and the Chargers are the third. Like they use man coverage at the third highest rate in the NFL, and that really makes your mind think, man, I should take the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't think so. The Chargers at home is the way to go, I believe, in this game. Yeah, they've lost 2 games. They're 4-2, but they lost against the Chiefs where Herbert got hurt, and then they lost the following game when he played against the Jacksonville Jaguars, still hurt.
Yeah.
Since then, he's won every game. So, and before that, he won that game. So I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, that's a good point. So do you have them over or under 1.5 passing touchdowns?
Who?
Justin Herbert.
Over.
Over?
Slam the over. 1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, over.
So the over is minus money. Under is minus 133. I don't know. Last week he didn't throw one.
He has 10 touchdowns in 6 games right now. I'd probably take
Last week he didn't have one though. I don't know.
1 week. And did you see that was the most?
No, they were playing the Broncos.
The most throws ever by an NFL quarterback without a touchdown in a game.
It was Herbert.
Yeah, last week.
That's pretty wild. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're going on the trend because of what happened last week. But still, yeah, they were playing a tough defense last week in the Broncos, so can't blame them. And Austin Eckler got in the end zone, so that helped out me in fantasy. So can care less. But it is what it is. And then finally.
Save the best 2 for last,
Finally,
huh?
man. Finally.
How many times has this happened?
Very rarely. But we have Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins. Miami's favored by a touchdown in this game, minus 335. On the over-under set at 45. If this was 2 years ago, I would have been really excited for this game. But now, a little bit less because of what Pittsburgh is, how they are right now. But they got a big win last week.
They've been 2 good teams.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, as much as I want to clown the Steelers, they've come up with, like, big wins. which is like the concerning part. Is like they're gonna come to our house primetime. Dolphins are, I think I read somewhere that Dolphins have never won a Sunday night game.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh,
we've only been on Sunday night 6 times since 2006. Yeah,
that's not that much. So
Yeah.
you're 0-6.
yeah. Well, no, the winless
Ah.
part, I'm not sure how long that dates back to, but I know the amount of times we've been on Sunday Night Football has only been 6 times
Yes.
since then. So, not so much primetime love for the Miami Dolphins, especially on Sundays. But they're wearing the throwbacks, man. The throwback magic is something else.
I feel like that teal and orange just it looks so much better in the daytime than nighttime, man. You're convincing me to take Pittsburgh, and I know Mark did. But yeah, I agree. This game is kind of like I don't know. I would have been more excited if I knew Tua was gonna play for sure and was healthy for sure. I'm not a big Skylar Thompson guy, although he's probably hurt. Teddy's banged up, probably still a little bit too. So plus he doesn't look good. Plus whoever's starting for Pittsburgh, which I heard is gonna be Trubisky again.
Well, Kenny, like when I was looking at the lines today, Kenny Pickett was like the quarterback like that you could bet on for the Steelers, which was a little confusing
Yeah,
he's still in
because-
concussion protocol. And
Yeah.
stuff.
So I thought it was gonna be Trubisky, which I don't know. If Trubisky plays against the Dolphins without Tua, he could beat this team. Because even though their record is 2-4, they've held their own in every game. Every game's been close for Pittsburgh. So I would say this would be another close one. Two very interesting coaches going against each other in this one as well, and Tomlin and Mike McDaniel. And neither one likes to lose, so I think it's gonna be a good game. It should be a good game.
Prop for this game is Miami Dolphins total quarters 1-3 plus 225.
Did I say Dolphins at home?
Huh?
Did I say Dolphins at home? That's what
No,
I'm
no.
taking.
No, you said you were taking the Steelers.
No, I'm going Dolphins.
Oh, you're going Dolphins?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, my bad.
You're confusing the entire audience.
No, dude. I'm saying if two is out, I'm taking the Steelers.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna flip it if that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tua hopefully has been cleared. So hopefully he plays.
Yeah.
Biggest concern, like I think we already talked about it, but just the concern is putting him out there and then bam, like it happens again, you know. And if that's the case, never let him touch a fucking blade of grass ever again.
Jesus, dude,
honestly.
that'd be worst case scenario.
But hoping the best for him, and hopefully he starts. If he starts, that's a huge opportunity for the Miami Dolphins. And
Monday's gonna be rough.
Monday,
And more than one reason.
Yeah?
If we do go to, if I go to that game, for you it's definitely gonna be rough. But if I go to the game, it'll be doubly rough because the Bears play on Monday night, and like you mentioned about the Dolphins being bad in prime time, the Bears haven't been great as of late on prime time television either. I gotta ride with my boys. I'm going with the Bears. It's a big game at the Pats. I would normally say Belichick at home against a not great team. You should probably take that, as everybody else besides me did. And, probably shouldn't take the Bears because I'm pretty far down in the standings, but I'm going to.
got to at this point. No?
I'm riding with the boys. I'm taking the Bears. This is a fun game. Monday night. Not sure. We might do something with some people from work. Might watch the game. Naida is a big Patriots fan.
Yeah.
One of the girls that works with us, she's one of the homies, so we might watch the game. I don't know. We might get something going, but we'll see. Monday Night Football. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Patriots. Last time I did this, NFC opponent going to New England, I went with the Lions and they got slaughtered 0-20 or 39. So I don't want to go against the Patriots at home against NFC North. One of the two opponents that they face at home in terms of NFC North opponents. And I have them winning by a touchdown plus, which is going with the spread too. New England's favored by a touchdown and a half. And then they also are favored money line minus 385. Over under set at 39.5. And winning margin 7 to 12 points. Think it's possible. I'm gonna go with that and see what happens there. But Man, this is
It's tough.
it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for the Bears. You guys have had struggles offensively pretty much all year. But
Yep.
you guys like have highs and lows. It's pretty frustrating. Like for you, I can imagine how frustrating it may be seeing like all the stuff that goes on with this team. But man, that pretty much wraps up this week of NFL game picks. Any closing statements?
Well, we get to wait all week to watch both our teams play.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get to watch a lot of other teams leading up to these games,
Yeah.
which, which would be interesting. I work, so I get to watch a majority of these games.
Mhm.
So we'll have a lot to talk about next week, I think.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah, that's probably like the best part about having your team play so late is like having the time to, like I'll be able to watch all the 1 o'clock games,
Right.
and then I'll probably start getting ready towards the end of the 1 o'clock games, and then head over to tailgate and stuff like that for the 8 o'clock games. So I'll miss the 4 o'clock games, but Thursday 1 p.m. window, boom, get to the tailgate, get in the game, and then we get to watch your team on Monday night, which will be fun. But
Always a good time watching them lose on prime time, so
On
everybody
prime
can see how bad we are.
it's crazy. You guys this is like your 4th prime game, like primetime game.
I think we had a
Sunday
Sunday
night.
night, and then we had Thursday night last week, and
Thursday
then we
night.
have Monday
Okay, so
night.
3rd one so far.
And I
think
think
you're gonna
we
have two
have
more.
one more, I think, at least
Yeah.
by the end of usually they put Bears Packers on prime.
Well, you guys already had it the week 1
Yeah,
Sunday
so-
night. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps up week 7 of NFL game picks, and we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
Ciao.